tiny box. Of course, you already know what's inside. Little tiny LiPo packs. Or lithium ion packs, or whatever they are. So this is a completely experimental project I'm about to do. And I don't have no idea if it's going to work. So it's just best guess on this little situation. So this come about to be because I have a couple of these little inspection flashlights. These are your little pen flashlights that you stick in your pocket, and these are Coasts. So this is the HP3R. These are a rechargeable little inspection pen light that you can stick in your pocket, and it comes with a little battery and stuff like that. So I got one that's working here. Of course, the other one that I just took apart, it does work, but I've had these for a number of years now, and the batteries are starting to get a little weak in them. So it's one of these little proprietary I got you batteries. So when these things go bad, guess what? You can't buy them. They don't make them. And for what a little bit of time they were sold for, they were going for a stupid amount of money. Now you can't even get these things anymore. And these are a part number of 20838. So if you look up Coast 20838, you'll see that some people have them, but they're not in stock. And I've been looking around for these things for a couple of years now, and they just don't exist at all, period. And you can't get them, and blah, blah, blah. So I can just imagine that there's a lot of people that have these lights around, and probably by now, if they do still charge, they only last a couple of minutes and then they're dead. So it's one of these proprietary batteries, and it's a 3-volt battery, I believe, or a 4-volt because it's lithium. Yeah, it's a 3.7 volt, 530 milliamp hours. So-called number, whatever. Rechargeable flashlight battery, blah, blah, blah. So this battery contains the battery itself and the charging circuit. It's all in the battery. It's not in the flashlight. So what I did is I took another one apart, because I got several of these, because I wanted to see what was inside. So I sacrificed one for the benefit of science. My science and my benefit. So this is what's inside after you slice off the outside jacket, which is a soft, I don't know, a semi-rigid, like a vinyl or poly plastic or whatever. So one end is your positive side and your other end is the negative side. So you stretch these suckers out. The top here, and you can already see inside, there's a little charging circuit in there. And this is the one side of the battery. And on this side, it's got a resistor on the whatever side, negative side, I believe it is. So whatever resistor it is, I think I measured it. I don't remember what it was, but it doesn't really matter at this point, because the concern is how do I replace the cell if you can't buy the battery? Well, I looked around all over the place for a cylindrical battery. They don't exist unless you want to buy hundreds of thousands of them. Well, I don't need hundreds of thousands of them. I only need a couple. So the next stage of my thinking is what can I substitute? Because there's not a lot of room inside this barrel to stick things in here. So it's less than it has to be less than 11 millimeters wide. The length can be a certain size. I think it has to be 80, a little over 80, 87 or something like that millimeters long, so that you can have enough pressure so that the contacts can make decent contact. So I spent a couple of days just looking around for batteries. And of course, they come in all kinds of different shapes and sizes and lengths. But nothing to the point of a drop-in with maybe a marginal little modification. So I just happened to stumble on these particular cells. And whatever plastic this is incredible. Because you can't tear it and you can't cut it. Jesus. Get out of my life. So I got these little guys. These are 50, 10, 40. So they're 50 millimeters. I think they're 5 millimeters thick. They're 10 millimeters wide and they're 40 millimeters long. So my thinking is, and these are 3.7 volt, 200 milliamps. So my thinking is, one, do they fit inside the barrel? And they just fit. They're a snug fit. But they fit. So my thinking was, since I can't find a battery the exact length I need, how about if I put two batteries together? Like so. Does that give me the required length I need? So we're going to find out right now. Things quit rolling off the table and being annoying. So I need a battery that is about 88.9 millimeters. And that's including the end caps, because if this works, I need to salvage the end caps because they're important, because one end cap has the charging circuit and the other end cap has a resistor for whatever reason. I don't have no idea why. So I need a length of a total length of 88 point, you might as well say 9 or 88.8. So within margin, because there is going to be a little give in the terminals on the button cap. So what do I get when I put two of these together and butt them up tight? So I get about 80, about 80 millimeters. Give or take. About 80 millimeters. And then the end caps, as for the resistor, it doesn't really matter. Because even if I had to, I could put a surface mount in there. So there's about 5.5. So, can I make something happen out of nothing? Because even with this thing, I got some give to make the length that I need. So can I stick two of these suckers together and butt them up tight against each other? I think I can. So I got these things laid out end to end, and it just barely gives me enough length to put them together. But I also had another thought in my head. I says, a lot of times you can take out, because each one of these little batteries, they got their own little protection board in there, and they got, of course, little tabs that obviously you would have to connect to attach from the battery to the board. So I says, if I have to, I can take that board off, and then maybe more than likely, the little tabs that are connecting that to the board are usually kind of scrunched, either folded over or they're kind of like scrunched in an S or something like that. Take the board off, straighten out the tab, fold them over, and then I can take the two batteries and wire them in parallel, which will give me 400 milliamp hour pack, which really doesn't really matter because probably two of these together are probably better than that one by itself. So my plan is see if I can get these wired in parallel, and then wire in the charging circuit and the other end cap with the resistor, and then maybe use some heat shrink, get some different kinds of heat shrink or whatever, so I maintain the just to contain everything and keep it semi-rigid, because since this is already a tight fit, and this will squish up a little bit more, the folded over, part of this battery, because it'll give me enough room for the heat shrink. And then when I'm done screwing around with the internal guts of this thing, put a piece of heat shrink around there with these two end caps from this old pack and do something like that. And as you can see, I'm pretty close to the proper length that I need. Because if I put this together and just sort of fudge it so that's the right length, so these two butted together, and if I butt them together, just like so, I think I have myself a replacement cell pack. I think that's a future video. So stay tuned, because I will have that video shortly. I don't know exactly when, because I still have to have the gears grind a little bit in my little micro brain. So that's it for explanation video of more wackiness in this laboratory. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next video. Bye bye.